Over the last decade, the way that we consume films as a form of entertainment has shifted greatly. With the rise of competing entertainment industries such as video games, live streaming, and short-form content, it's got so bad that parents are fearing for the attention span of their kids. It's starting to feel like most people don't really have the time or patience for film and cinema. Except maybe for people like me and you? Hello, it's me. Last year, I started collecting VHS tapes. These relics for me represent a bygone era, an era that I only saw the edge of because I was born in 1993. I have memories of watching VHS as a kid, but also witnessing the rise of popular technology such as the DVD, which took the world by storm in the early 2000s. I have a certain nostalgia for a very specific type of tape. The type that was barely hanging on for life when it was originally released. I'm talking about the VHS that was released in the late 90s and the early 2000s, just before DVDs would take over and essentially replace the VHS market. I thought today I'd do a little bit more of a relaxed video where I show you some of my VHS tapes, the ones that I specifically purchased because I hold some nostalgia for them. I also want to say a huge thank you to all the people that have subscribed and interacted with the channel so far. Your support means a whole lot to me, so thank you very much. Okay, the first tape I want to share with you is Goosebumps, The Haunted Mask. I have a tremendous amount of nostalgia for this TV show, and especially this VHS. I remember purchasing my own copy back when the Scholastic Book Fair came to my school. I actually got this from a thrift store a couple of years ago. It's a very popular VHS. If you're a 90s kid, no doubt you probably owned this VHS tape. Really, like Goosebumps itself is what got me into the horror genre. That and a few childhood traumas, but absolutely love this tape and I'm so glad I own it. Next up on my nostalgia tape tour is Ghost Ship from 2002. Just look at this front cover, it looks so creepy and vivid. I remember seeing this on the shelves of the video rental store and being obsessed with it. This movie is great, I recommend watching it. It's dated really well, it still holds up as a great spooky horror film. Again, a lot of nostalgia for this. These are some of my, the first sort of horror movies that I watched when I was a kid, getting into the genre, so Ghost Ship 2002. Next up, we have another film from 2002. It is Resident Evil. Yes, I know this film series is very divisive amongst fans. It's an adaptation of a video game, a very famous, very beloved video game series. I remember watching this with a friend over at his house. So again, just a lot of childhood nostalgia for these movies. I love that I own this on VHS, and I love that it says available on DVD. There's actually a whole DVD advertisement on the front of this tape. So instead of a bunch of trailers, I mean, there are still trailers on here, but you get advertisements for the DVD format, which just feels like a piece of media history. Really glad that I own this one. Next up, we have Return of the Living Dead Part 3. Out of the original trilogy of the Return of the Living Dead films, this was the one that resonated with the little kid that was me, who was renting these movies when he was way too young. The person who ran my video rental store when I was a little kid, he did not check my age and he did not care. He let me rent whatever I wanted, and this was one of the films that I kept renting. For some reason, I was obsessed. It might have something to do with the female zombie that features on the front. I love that it is a green tape. I don't have another green tape in my collection, and yeah, the back of this just looks great. I'm sure this one will become a bit of a collectible item, especially since the third one is growing in nostalgia for a lot of people. A lot of people are growing up and remembering this movie, and I'm really happy that I have my hands on it. Next up, we have Tim Burton's comedy science fiction film from 1996. It's Mars Attacks. I have a lot of memories of getting my mother to rent this for me when I was way too young. I was obsessed with this film. The aliens in this movie are pretty terrifying, and they turn people into skeletons, like red and green melty skeletons. So I would say that this sparked a little bit of my body horror obsession. So thank you, Tim Burton, and I'm sure there will be a resurgence of people who are, you know, having that nostalgia element for Mars Attacks. And you know what? I'm gonna predict it right now. I think we'll probably get like a Beetlejuice style remake or a sequel of Mars Attacks, probably within the next couple of years. And finally, we have Dark Angel, The Ascent. This is a very weird 90s film. It came out in 1994. It's a film that, again, I watched when I was way too young, and I'm sure, you know, bruised and shaped my malleable little mind. It's about a demonic lady that comes from hell to punish bad people, but it's a very weird movie. It's got a lot of violence in it, but also it's a little bit kinky. Definitely turned me into a bit of an edgy teenager. So Dark Angel, The Ascent. I'm sure nobody knows about this movie. I'm sure this is a movie that only I know about. And it was incredibly cheap on eBay. The person that I purchased it from was probably just surprised anybody had any interest in this movie whatsoever. For me personally, I like to hold a piece of the movies that I enjoy and that I feel helped form who I am now. Preserving films and TV shows that you enjoy is a really good thing if you're a fan of something, to seek out something that is tangible before it ends up in landfill or getting thrown into the trash. Just nab up some physical media as soon as you can. Well, that's about it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Please remember to stay creative, continue to watch movies, and I'll see you in the next video.